I think we all thought he may have just had other drugs in his system, may have accidentally overdosed and drowned. But I think when you hear that doctors may have been involved in this, I think that changes the tune, right? The regular street level dealer providing him drugs, his assistant overdosing, this is tragic, but I don't think it's surprising to any of us because we know these things happen, unfortunately. The doctors being involved to me is what is so astounding. We rarely hear of cases where doctors are prosecuted for these kind of actions because I think most doctors would never do this. They take this oath to do no harm. They go into the field to help people. And this conduct is so far from their oath that it's just particularly offensive. We are seeing so much how ketamine is now available to the public. You can go on Instagram and see in your feed just pop up, buy ketamine. And I think we need more public awareness about the dangers of a prescription drug like this being distributed by mail or by courier to people's homes where they could accidentally overdose, where they could abuse that controlled substance. The doctor is not with them in the room when they're taking it. And I hope this will bring some awareness to the risks. This occurred in October. So we've had some time since then till now. And I would expect that investigators reached out to him, and they call it Queen for a Day, where someone will come in and share all of the information that they have, maybe not with a promise of leniency, but with the hope of leniency. And it may be that the evidence is already so overwhelming, they're mitigating to get the best type of sentence that they can for whatever charge is ultimately going to be brought, and perhaps provide additional information to law enforcement. So we wonder, how do they know who the doctors were? How do we know who the fentanyl queen was? Cases like this where you have a celebrity who has died, sometimes people will be critical and say, well, why are we focusing on this celebrity and not all of the other people who overdose? But at the same time, someone like Matthew Perry had advocates in his family, people who are saying, let's take this seriously. And not everyone has family or people who care enough to insist that an investigation happen. And ultimately, it benefits sort of all victims when the government investigates these cases, because they may find people who have died, who have been the victim of this person that they wouldn't have otherwise found now that they're scrutinizing their actions. You know, there's a difference between what is morally wrong and what is criminally liable. And in the criminal justice system, we generally don't hold people responsible for other people's self-harm. So you have someone like Matthew Perry, who was an addict. He sought treatment using a drug that he thought may cure his depression and therefore his addiction. Ultimately, it appears he got addicted to that drug as well. And so the question then becomes, when we're looking at doctors, I think they have an additional responsibility to do no harm, to not do anything that would endanger their patient, I think both morally and legally. And then when you look at street dealers, we know they're already engaged in illegal criminal activity.